What's up, everyone? Welcome back to episode 7 of the F.R.E.E podcast. We have a very special guest on today, guest 3, I believe. His name's John, and he is pushing 1 million followers on TikTok. What's up, man?
Dude, what's up? Thank you for having me, Sam. I appreciate you guys bringing me on. Andrew, it's oh, there we go. Andrew, it's nice to meet you again. And
Yeah, it's nice to meet you. Thanks for coming on the podcast. It's really cool to see somebody who's approaching 1 million and seeing that growth over the past even just month is pretty crazy.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been a wild ride. TikTok is kind of like the Wild West, so you don't really know what's going to go on. I know, Sam, you just had a video that popped off. I believe any content creator should be on TikTok right now, just because of the massive growth that you can get.
Absolutely. I mean, the algorithm is just way too good to pass up. So, you're pushing almost 1 million, but how long have you had the page and how'd you start?
Yeah, so I actually started in December of 2019. So I've been at it over a year, probably about a year and like 4 months now. I was reading all the financial blogs and learning about finance through YouTube, and I just really love personal finance, and I started teaching my friends and family about it, and I started realizing that I could reach a huge audience if I just posted on YouTube or Instagram, but at the time TikTok was kind of growing and gaining popularity, so I was like, I'm gonna start posting videos on TikTok. I was one of like maybe 4 or 5 on TikTok that was teaching personal finance. It was like me, Humphrey Yang, maybe a few others on there. But yeah, so I just kind of got in early. I started posting consistently, 5 to 7 videos a week just on personal finance. And obviously, there's a thirst for financial education in that space, and it's just taken off since. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's incredible to see that growth happen so quickly. And you talk about personal finance on your page, and all of your videos are very helpful and very relatable. And I wanted to ask you sort of, since you've been the teacher for so many people, I wanted to ask you like how you learned, and do you have any resources that you sort of look for to learn about financial education?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is that I graduated college as a finance major. Like I got a finance degree, and what I realized is I didn't take a single personal finance class while in college, which was crazy to me because if finance majors are not learning personal finance, I can guarantee no one else is learning about personal finance. So that's why I was like, okay, there is definitely a gap in the education system. That's why I originally started consuming the content myself. I started listening to podcasts. I started reaching into bigger pockets. There's so many resources out there. I can name some more, like Rich Dad Poor Dad obviously was a huge catalyst for me. Yeah, like Choose FI. I don't know if you've heard of them as well. They're a great podcast, but yeah, so many just podcasts, YouTube videos. I know Graham Stephan is a huge popular content creator, but I just consumed everything really. So, and that's, once I started learning more about it, that's when I took it upon myself to start teaching others. I didn't want to scold the education system. Like, why aren't you guys teaching financial literacy? I'll just do it myself. If you guys aren't going to teach it, I'll teach it myself. So that's kind of the mentality I had behind it.
Yeah, I definitely go for some of the scolding myself. I think it's just really lackluster, the financial education. I have a finance major as well, and I'm just taking my very first finance course, like for personal finance, in my senior year, in my last semester, and it's an elective. So I mean, that's just pretty inexcusable in my opinion. But
Crazy. And
right.
it's just it's amazing how it's not taught. And again, if they're not teaching finance majors, personal finance, they're definitely not teaching anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it depends how you look at it. I mean, the education system is lagging, but like you said, I mean, you're one of the resources for people who didn't get that education in school. So beyond school, it is up to each and every one of us. But so you're a big kind of influencer, I would say, within TikTok. What are your like top 3 other pages within the finance niche on TikTok that you like?
Yeah, and it's funny because when I started, I was just like, okay, like who am I to be telling someone what to do with their money? But yeah, it's come a long way. Obviously, I'm very fortunate about that. But I mean, I definitely think Humphrey Yang was one of my big inspirations going forward. You know, he was posting at the time, he was posting like one every single day. And I was like, wow, man, if I could be like him. And he reached 1 million followers pretty quickly. But I also want to shout out Dr. Brad Klontz. He is a huge financial educator in the game. He talks about financial psychology because everyone knows, you know, you should be budgeting, you should be investing, but no one does it. So like the psychology behind it that he researches is just super interesting to me. And the last one I'll give a shout out to is my actual co-host on our podcast is Ryan, the Money CEO. He's a straight shooter. He teaches everything, you know, financial independence, you know, car buying or home buying, you know, just so many examples that he gives is just really beneficial. So them three for sure are definitely my favorite.
Yeah, those are great pages. I follow quite a few of those as well. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about like how has you growing up on TikTok sort of like changed your life, or has it in any way from 10K to 100K to almost to 1 million? Has that changed at all for you? Has your view of it changed?
Yeah, and when I first started, and I love that you guys are kind of diving into this because it's fun sharing the story of how, you know, this all came about. But when I first started, I just wanted to help people, and I didn't really think of this as a business. You know, some people get into it like wanting to create a business. I didn't even think of it as that. I was just like, I wanted to help friends and family, and if I could help, you know, one extra person online, you know, that'd be great too. So, you know, when I first got my first 10,000 followers, I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is like, I don't even know 10,000 people in real life. Like, this is insane.
Sam can relate to that.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, dude. And I promise you, Sam, you're just scratching the surface from, you know, where your potential is. And I know it's gonna keep growing as the, you know, financial education wave keeps growing. But yeah, it's almost like you're always playing that imposter syndrome. Like, okay, I have almost 1 million followers now. Like I'm in like an elite tier, you know, because I have almost 1 million followers. And I just feel like a normal person at the end of the day. So it's just, I don't know. It's kind of a weird feeling, but again, I'm super, you know, blessed and fortunate for this community that I've become. So.
Right, right, right. Have you ever had someone like, you know, just walk by you on the street? Hey, you're that guy from TikTok. Ever had that?
So nothing like randomly on the street before, but I did. So I was hanging out with a friend one time, and one of their friends was like, "Hey, like I've been on TikTok. I saw this guy, and he said that I should get a credit card to like boost my credit score." And she showed him the video, and he was like, "That's my friend John." Like, wait, you don't know him at all, but you're showing me him. Like, it was like a cool little friend of a friend thing that, you know, didn't know who I was, but yeah, it's just cool. And the connections you make, I think, are the biggest thing with TikTok, YouTube, any social media. The connections and the community you make are just amazing. You know, it's really, you know, it really takes you to another level when you can talk to so many different people, so many high value people.
Yeah, absolutely. That's pretty amazing to hear. And and I'm asking these questions, you know, sort of for our audience and sort of also for myself because I haven't really divulged into that all that much. I've just been in the real estate and finance sphere before, and so Sam brought me on because we've been friends. So um, I'm personally fortunate enough to start under and have a friend like Sam also who has 10,000, who and he has friends like you who have almost 1 million. It's pretty incredible, and it goes to talk about like that connection and that sphere that you're talking about. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. It's the connections you make, and when you start seeing other people doing amazing things, that just gets you even more motivated to keep doing these types of things for sure. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's switch over to kind of the investing side of it. So what kind of markets, industries, or anything like that do you have kind of close eyes on? And do you think the game of investing will change much in the next 10 years or 5 years, or what kind of horizon you thinking?
Well, it's funny because investing really has become a game with Robinhood, and you know they'll celebrate different wins like woohoo, you got a dividend, or woohoo, like you just made 100% on this stock. And so it really has become this type of gambling, almost gamification of investing. Obviously, there's that whole scandal that happened with it, but I think, for the future of investing, I think it's only going to get more fast paced, more, hype stocks like, dude, GME, all this like craze with that. It's just insane. Like,
The
I don't
moon.
even have to go into that. Yeah. The
It's back up over $200. This is nuts.
Yeah.
So, I don't get into any of that. I watch from the sidelines. Any of those hype stocks, I usually just kind of, stay back because I'm in it for the long-term game, and those are really just short-term gains. But as far as investing in general, I really think, crypto does have a space in investing in my mind. I wouldn't put all your eggs into Dogecoin, for example. I don't even touch Dogecoin actually, but I understand the exposure to crypto if it's like, 2 to 3% of your portfolio. That makes sense to me because if it goes down to zero, you lose 2 to 3%. That's fine, but you're hoping to capitalize on those gains. And then just one more thing I wanted to touch on besides crypto is, just the renewable energies, I think it's going to play a huge role in the future, whether it's solar, wind, any of those, I think will be definitely usable in the future.
Right. Do you think it's almost dangerous, this whole kind of gamification of investing that, the digital age that is brought on between Robinhood and the easy interfaces and such, like the easy use or like access to margin options, kind of pretty high level, uh, pretty abstract like concepts and tools and instruments. Do you think that's almost too dangerous for investing?
It's a great question because you can take out Robinhood, you can take out margin on Robinhood, which is basically taking a loan to invest. Extremely risky to do that. You can do margin on Robinhood with just a few click of the buttons, and you automatically have access to $5,000 or whatever, which is kind of crazy. If you think about it, if you go to get an actual loan, they'll take your credit score, they'll do a background check, things like that. So I think it does harm investors in some cases because they really don't know what they're getting into. They don't know the risks involved, and they just think that all stocks go up. So obviously, this is a good idea. It doesn't work
Right,
like that.
right.
Um, but yeah, and I also wanted to touch on that when a market crash does happen and when all these over leveraged people get burned, how will they invest in the future? I feel like if their life savings gets wiped out, they're going to be so afraid to invest in the future because they were too risky in the beginning. So I think that's where the real harm comes from, is that long term they're not going to want to invest in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that can hurt a market for a much longer period of time than just a crash would. I mean, after 2008, it took several years for people to even trust the market again. So, with people that are getting such quick responses like they are now, I mean, it could definitely hurt the market. But you said maybe allocating 3% to crypto, and I agree with that. But can you talk a little bit more about and the other percentages? Like, how do you allocate your portfolio, and do you hedge with anything, or do you just full bull invest in stock?
Yeah, so I currently have, obviously I have a Roth IRA, and then I also have a company retirement plan. It's a 403(b). All of my retirement accounts are strictly in index funds, so 100% equities. That's, I'm going to keep it like that until I'm at least probably like 40. But then my other, portfolios, I have a small percentage in crypto. I also have a house that I'm house hacking. It's a duplex, so that's like a large portion of my net worth as well. So, and we can definitely talk about that too. So it's all about diversification. I have index funds, I have a little bit of crypto, I have real estate. I don't have any bonds though. I don't really. I made a video about that. Like, bonds aren't the greatest right now. But and you said, do you have a hedge? You asked. I just have an emergency fund basically to weather any storms that may come. So.
Excellent. And I think that's something that a lot of people are missing out on. Of course, it's not best to be super cash heavy, but I think a lot of people are sort of over investing in themselves. So um, that could pay off for them in the short run. But I'm sweating for those people when there's a market crash.
Absolutely. It's such a hot topic right now. Just everyone's going into 100% crypto. There's new coins popping up like every single day. Like there's a Pokemon coin. There is like brand NFTs, dude. Oh my gosh,
Oh
NFTs are like the new
Yeah.
my.
craze too.
How much did that one just sell for?
Like $69 million.
69 million.
Crazy
It's
to me.
nuts. And obviously, like I don't know. I don't quite understand like the whole art scene itself, like actual physical art, or even like Pokemon cards or baseball cards. Like it really is just strictly the value that people put on something, and the fact that NFTs are just taking off right now. I'm just like, so when are people gonna wake up and realize like this stuff may not even have value one day? Like I'm just curious, like because it really is about what kind of value you put on it. I mean, it can be $1,000 to you or $1 million to you, and that's how it's priced.
Yeah, and that's another reason why I try and limit myself to crypto because it's just a store of value, I guess, until it has actual use. When I get that Bitcoin, has some use, and Ethereum also like can run a lot of whatever cryptocurrencies, but like NFTs, for an example, I just don't understand. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too new into this. I'm sure we all are, but
We're boomers.
yeah, we're too old for this stuff. Now, Gary V would be yelling at us that we don't understand NFTs right now.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that I would rather invest in something like real estate over crypto, just because real estate has cash flow and appreciation. Like it's an actual business, it's an asset rather than just a store of value type of thing. So
Well, let's sit into that conversation because I always love talking about real estate. That's sort of my wheelhouse. I wanted to ask you what you thought about real estate investing. Are there like certain facets of it that you do like, don't like? Do you like flipping? Do you hate flipping? Buy and hold rentals? What do you think?
So I'm still pretty like I consider myself pretty like new to real estate investing. I mean, I consumed so much Bigger Pockets content, so I love Bigger Pockets. Um, but yeah, I bought my house in July of 2020, right when COVID was rampant and all that. I bought my house then, and I knew I wanted to buy a duplex because house hacking. And for the audience who may not know, house hacking is essentially buying a multi-unit family or multi-unit property, living in one unit and renting out the other units. You can also house hack by the room. So if I had a 4-bedroom house, I could live in one bedroom and rent out the other. So it's a super efficient way to live very cheaply or even free in some cases. And you can build equity in the property. You can potentially get cash flow. You get a bunch of tax benefits. It's one of the best ways to build wealth as a young person in my eyes, and that's why I did it. So I bought a duplex in July of 2020, and I'm living in the top unit and I'm renting out the bottom unit, and it's been great. I haven't had really many problems with it. It's more of the what do they say? The real estate investing with training wheels, essentially, is what house hacking is. So that's how I kind of got started. And yeah, are you guys into investing in real estate at all?
I am. That's like my primary way of investing. So I have two projects going right now, a rental and a flip. So I want to get to the point where I'm doing, maybe 10 to 15 flips a year and probably gaining 2 to 3 rentals a year. I think house hacking is extremely efficient and something that for you, if you are house hacking and you can get a couple $100 of cash flow every month, something that I suggest and that I've had clients do is to just pour that money back into paying the principal as long as you don't have early repayment penalties on your loan, and your loan officer would know that. But what you can do is you can end up paying off your house or your duplex in about 6 7 years, and then you have somebody else that's paid off a couple $100,000 asset for you. So that's a huge jump to your wealth, and that's really interesting. And I'm glad that you do like real estate investing because it's something that I view as like so powerful. There's a reason 90% of millionaires became so through real estate.
Yeah, I'm not I can't get into it just yet, unfortunately, because of my contract for work. I'm gonna be traveling way too much. The hassle behind, finding tenants, trying to basically manage it while I'm abroad or 4 or 5 hours away for trips. Kind of hard, but I do try and get some exposure through REITs. as much as I can. Um, but yeah, nothing yet. Hopefully, some to come. After the 3-year contract.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I think, people think real estate investing is only for the wealthy, but it's how people get wealthy. That's just the thing of it is. So yeah, that's why I love it. I'm not as, I don't do flips like you do, Andrew, but it's definitely something I've considered. But it's just such a powerful way to build wealth as long as you're running the numbers. You're well educated, you're buying good deals. Obviously, this housing market is crazy right now, as you guys probably know. But I wouldn't want to overpay for something that doesn't make sense. But real estate is just such a powerful way to build wealth.
Right. And if you decide
Right.
to get into that flipping sphere, I'm actually stepping into your market in the next couple months. So hit me up and we can partner up on a project soon.
Dude, absolutely. Even we could just grab a coffee or something, just chat
Yeah, for
business.
sure.
That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the benefits. So we talked about the benefits. What do you see as some of the cons possibly of house hacking?
Yeah, and that's a good question. Sometimes bigger pockets get some hate because they only show the pros. But there are cons to real estate investing, as with anything. Obviously you're in charge of the maintenance, all the repairs, all the capital expenditures that pop up with it. But again, it's you should plan for that. That's the thing. You should have reserves. You should never buy a house and drain all your savings. I always like to have at least $10,000 in reserves for any capital expenditures that might come up with a house. Any other cons? I mean, not too many. I've never had to fix a toilet, thankfully. I did. Oh, actually, on one Friday night, I got called to fix a garbage disposal. So I had my hand like in the garbage disposal trying to like fix the sink and all that. So that got a little bit dirty, but I'm young. I can do things myself. I like to learn. I like to do projects myself. I actually replaced the floors in my house. Just things like that. You can really make it customizable. So I guess my only other con for real estate investing would be the liquidability. Is that a word? It's not a liquid asset, basically.
Right.
So it's you can't buy and then quickly sell. So
Right. Did you have any trouble with tenant finding, possible kind of fallouts there, anything along those lines?
yeah, great question to bring up. I actually inherited my tenant, which some people say it can get nasty if you inherit bad tenants, but before I actually inherited her, I ran background check, credit check, did all my due diligence, and I was like, yeah, you seem like a great tenant. You pass all the checks. And so she just ended up staying in the bottom unit. So she had already been living there. And so, yeah, I know sometimes it can be hard to find tenants, but I haven't had a problem with that, thankfully. In the future, in the future, I plan to buy another either duplex or a fourplex, hopefully. We'll see how that happens. But, I plan to find tenants through either Facebook Marketplace or Zillow, things like that. So it's all about the preparation. I feel like a lot of the mistakes can be avoided through proper preparation. But obviously you can't plan for anything. So
Right. And you talk about that preparation and sort of like those background checks and the due diligence on tenants, and I think that's incredibly important. And obviously you can get the broad strokes from listening to other podcasts or other pages, but how did you learn like the nitty-gritty, like how to exactly go about doing that, like running a background check on somebody, getting the lease paperwork and things like that?
yeah, it can be intimidating just doing it by yourself. And obviously I tried to learn from podcasts and bigger pockets, but at the end of the day, you just kind of figure it out. You put yourself in there, and you might make some mistakes, but you just do the best you can, and because you learn from experiences. Obviously, you could tell someone, "Hey, go house hack a house," and that's a great idea. But until you actually do it, you're not going to understand it. But I was able to get a lease from biggerpockets.com. They provide all those leases per state. It was like $99. I was like, all right, I don't have to do this work myself. I can just kind
Easy
of,
enough.
Right, right.
yeah. So that's a huge resource for me is Bigger Pockets. But yeah, I mean, it's just learning from experience is the best thing.
Right. And you said that you'd like to get maybe a fourplex here in the future. Do you have like a longer sort of goal, like sort of timeline, say in 10 years I want to have this many units, I want to have this much cash flow, I want to have, this many doors, this many complexes?
Yeah, I think I would like to buy something every, 1 to 1.5 years. I'm hoping to honestly have 10 properties by, 10 properties in 10 years, I think is definitely doable. And if they're all duplexes to quadplexes, that could be 20 to 30 doors. So, yeah, I don't have like a set goal, but if I have 10 properties, I will be happy. I don't see myself doing like 1,500 units or like syndications or things like that.
Right, right.
As long as I have the cash flow, if I can get, $500 per property, let's say you get 10 properties, that's financial independence right there. So,
Yep, absolutely. And I think that's so powerful. That's why I love real estate investing.
yeah, I guess the one bigger goal is to become financially independent, however many doors or properties that takes. So.
Right.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. What kind of plans do you have for your social media pages? Whether it's TikTok, do you plan on other types of platforms, or are you kind of focusing on your big one?
Yeah, so obviously I spend like 90% of my time on TikTok. I just love it. I consume it the most, I create on it the most. But obviously, TikTok could go away tomorrow, so I need to diversify my audience a little bit. So, I'm trying to get into the Instagram game. I've been posting every single day on Instagram for the past like month or two, trying to funnel my TikTok followers into Instagram. I've been posting on YouTube Shorts, so that's hopefully another maybe following to start cultivating. And then I'm also, I guess the big thing is just kind of building my website, having that homepage. And building a website is hard. I don't know if you guys have tried it before, but it's
Very
like
hard.
it's so many like variables. There's just so much to do.
Mine's so basic. Like I have one actually. I tried designing it myself. Like I linked it to like my Instagram so it auto updates like the posts that I have in there on one of the pages. Like I have my blog in there. But like it's so much that it looks kind of vague right now. So I don't know. I think I need to invest in someone just to set it up for me.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mine's so simple. I mean, mine's basically, well, it's actually complex, but the script is super simple. It's my website, andrew.homesearchlouisville.com, is basically like Zillow, except for that you can send properties or questions straight to me from it. So the script was extremely easy for me. I could not imagine having to custom design everything. I'm sure that's a huge headache, but really rewarding in the end.
I'm just curious. Do you use like Squarespace? Do you guys both use Squarespace, or what do you use?
We have a website designer at my firm that makes all of our websites. So I was really fortunate in that I literally just had to pick colors. Like it was easy enough for me and my picture that's in the top left. So I got really lucky with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I started on Wix, so that's still where it's at. I need to change that because I think Wix is just pretty basic right now. Um, we'll see how my growth is on Instagram. I definitely should just pay someone to set it up for me and design it, and then I can just manage it myself. But
Yeah, when I started trying to build out my website, I was like, oh, I can just like kind of pick some templates and figure it out. And now I'm putting in hours and hours of work into this, and it still looks just super basic, super like bare bones. I'm like, geez, yeah, I
Yeah.
might just need to pay someone to do this. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. I'm trying to really build like an email list, hopefully, so I can get people's contacts. I've looked into, text message marketing where I can just send out mass text like that. So I really do want to diversify my TikTok following, just to connect with more people on different platforms.
right, I mean, email lists are huge. I need to start using mine a little bit. I don't have a huge one, but I do have some, and I need to start using it. But yeah, kind of one of my side hustles is I copyright for someone, and part of that is I basically send out emails to a mass list. Like I broadcast it to about 40,000 people, and it's whether it's like running an affiliate program or just value add in itself, kind of leaking to one of his YouTube videos or something like that. It can be very useful and can make you a lot of money if you know how to kind of like itemize and monetize it. So
Yeah, and you've said a couple times like funneling your TikTok audience into other platforms. Where do you think that sort of like the future is for you besides TikTok? Like where do you think you're gonna find your best following, your I hate to say like most profitable, but like most valuable following in the future? Like what platform do you see that on? Do you have any projects going on any of those sites, like on your websites that are in the future that we can maybe get a little insight into, like a little sneak peek?
Yeah, well, you guys mentioned, yeah, I'm close to 1 million followers, so I actually have something dropping for once I hit 1 million followers. Is it'll be like kind of like a book or guide type of thing that I'll be giving out for people who are interested, and that way I can give them something in return for their email. Hopefully, build that community a little bit more. But the book is all about. Well, it's more like a guide actually. It's really not even that long, but it's all the things that you wish you knew as a 16. It goes from 16 to 24 years old. So like 16, you're going to get a job, maybe buy a used reliable car. Okay, 17, maybe you start applying for scholarships, things like that. And it goes all the way to 24 when you buy your first house hack, things like that. So that's kind of what I am prepared to drop to my followers once I hit 1 million. So
Amazing. That sounds incredible. I'll be looking out for that for sure. I think that sounds amazing. Really cool concept that I don't think I've heard about before.
yeah, I love it. Thank you
Yeah,
so
kind
much.
of breaking it down between like years. That's pretty cool actually. Yeah, kind of breaking it into like each year by year or whatever. Kind of not so much a checklist, but kind of I guess a to-do list or something, or just ideas of a to-do list in that playbook. It seems really interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I have this little mastermind group that I run with my friends, and their biggest like I guess questions was like they didn't know what to do at what age. Like they kind of just heard all different bouncing ideas, and because there was so many different things going on, it's almost that information overload where they just didn't do anything. So if there's too many things to do, you end up just not doing anything. So I kind of just break it down for people. It's more actionable steps that can really hopefully help them in the future. So
Do you think that's something that you'll update as you go forward? Like each year that you grow up, you add in like something that you did that year that was really great for you?
yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, I do plan on upgrading, bringing out either new versions or hopefully turning it into like a full-fledged ebook where I can start selling it as well. So, but yeah, when I'm, 25, 26, I can start adding stuff to the list. That's a really cool concept as well. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I was 16, man, I think the biggest thing when I was 16 that I wish I would have known is literally just what a custodial account was. Oh my gosh, I can't even fathom if I knew what a custodial account was and I could explain it to my parents. Oh, that would have been so nice.
Yeah, I'm missing out on all those gains,
I
man. But that's the
know, I
thing, you
know.
don't know what you don't
You
know.
don't.
So
Yep.
it's you just got to move forward from here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I think we're gonna do one last question here, and then we'll probably wrap it up. So we've talked about real estate, we've talked about stock market. You're really big into index investing. So which one do you like better? Do you like stock market investing or do you like real estate investing more, just based off where you're at right now?
That is such a good question. I haven't heard that like kind of comparison. Well, what's better? What do you like better? But I definitely think index fund investing is for the people who want to be hands off. They don't want to think about it. It's passive. You set it and forget it. And I think that's great for the majority of the population, to be honest. And I personally put my retirement funds in index funds. But, moving forward, I really do want to focus heavily on real estate. I think that's how you become, ultra wealthy, financially independent. You can set your own schedule. And I mean, it is less passive than index investing, but, I think I'd rather, do a little bit more work to get to that finish line a little bit quicker. So, I plan to own multiple properties. I'm actually looking into getting my real estate license. I was talking to Andrew about it before the show, but so I'm super excited to just dive into this huge world of real estate investing. So I'm going to pick real estate investing for this one. Andrew's clapping his hands. That's what's up.
Yeah, exactly. Real estate's my favorite thing because, in my eyes, I think they go very well hand in hand with each other. Index investing and real estate. I think real estate is a really great way to accelerate your wealth, to accelerate your income. You can add in, I mean, anybody can flip one or two houses a year or add a rental to their portfolio every year. Anybody can do that, and that can make you, $50,000 or add $5,000 a year of cash flow. So, I mean, that's really incredible. And then you can funnel that money into index investing and watch that grow as well. So,
It's a snowball, man.
exactly. I think you're on a great path, and I'm really glad that you've had so much success on all these platforms, and I'm excited for your future.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. It's been a real pleasure coming on the podcast. I love what you guys are doing. And the F.R.E.E podcast is like the most genius name I've ever heard. Super awesome.
That was Sam. That was Sam that came up with that one.
I love it, dude. So I hope you guys, hit 100 episodes, honestly, because it's really fun. I hope to come back like another time. That'd be sweet, too.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you back. Next season, we'd definitely love to have you back.
For sure.
Yep, we'll have a refeature. Thanks for coming out, John.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.